Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm sharing notes from church once again. This time around, we'll be talking about the book of Nehemiah. You've probably read it before. I have, but there are some things from this last sermon that I, I'd say I got to realize. Okay, sometimes when you study the word, you don't get everything the first time. But as time goes on, the more you hear it, the more you see it, then the more, you would discover some additional things. So what did I discover this time? Did you know that the walls of Jerusalem had been, brought down for over 100 years before Nehemiah got, the approval of the king to go and rebuild it? Yes, it had happened for over 100 years. And he rebuilt it in less than 100 days. Did you hear that? More than 100 years down, less than 100 days, it was up. And the book of Nehemiah tells us the whole story. There's so many lessons. Okay, there's so many lessons. One, as soon as Nehemiah heard, about the state of Jerusalem, his heart broke. His heart broke and he wept. He wept so much it affected his countenance, and the king noticed. And when the king asked him, that was his chance, and he spoke up. So, what opportunities are you letting go because you're too afraid to speak? I mean, he could have said, oh, this king is never going to let me. After all, I'm a slave in this land. Okay, but he went ahead and he asked, and the king granted him favor. Everything he asked for, the king gave him, including letters to the governors in the different provinces so that they could grant him right of way access, basically, to go through their cities and get to Jerusalem. That was amazing. Favor at work. Another lesson was that when he got there and he started building, or when he communicated what he wanted to do, there were people who immediately bought into the idea. Some people may have needed some time to, get convinced, but they bought into the idea and they started to build with him. So that's to tell you that you just need to you just need to settle it in your heart that you're going to do something. And the moment you step out, the favor is going to come. The resources are going to come. God is going to give you everything you need to make it work. Okay? The third thing, when he started building and people started seeing the progress they were making, people started to mock. They laughed at him. They wondered what he was doing. Some even tried to put, conflict, to cause conflict amongst them, just so that they will not make progress. That is another thing to tell you that there is nothing good that you're doing that people won't laugh at. People will laugh at you today, but tomorrow they're going to see what you have built and they'll begin to want to be associated with you. So, what are you waiting for? They are going to talk, they are going to cause trouble, they're going to do whatever it is they can to bring you down. So, don't let that stop you. Imagine when all of that was happening, what did Nehemiah do? With all the people who were working with him, they re-strategized. They realized, oh, not all of us can be building at the same time. People are going to get tired. And so they started to run shifts. When they realized that their enemies were going to try to fight them, what did they do? They converted some people to soldiers, fighters. People were keeping watch, security. While others were building, some people were keeping watch. Even those who were building, the Bible says some of them had their tools for work in one hand and then their weapons for war in another, just in case. What's that telling us? The Bible tells us to watch and pray. Watch and pray. Whatever it is you're doing, in your career, in your marriage, in friendships, in business, whatever it is you're building, that has the potential, to become something big in future. I kid you not, there will be naysayers. There would be people who would, try to bring you down. And so what are you going to do? Rather than let their words affect you or make you stop, re-strategize. What can you do differently? Using the resources you have, How can you make sure that you're able to continue to build or despite the negativities all around you? So, and the final lesson is this, like I said, start building. They're going to talk, they're going to try to fight you, but your building is going to come up in the end. So you see, Nehemiah built that. And like I said, he built it in less than 100, I think it's about 50 something days. That's nothing short of a miracle. Nothing short of a miracle. All right? So just to summarize the lessons from Nehemiah today, the first one, always be ready with your requests. It's not every day that the king is going to ask you what's going on. It's not every day that you're going to meet somebody important, somebody who's able to grant your desires, and the person would then ask you. Okay, so when you're asked, be ready to speak. Do not be afraid to speak. Okay, favor will go ahead of you. That's the first lesson. The second one, once you take a move, once you take those steps, the resources you need will align. The people you will need will show up. God is going to bring them, especially because He's put that burden in your heart. You just move and the resources will align. Third, do not think that there will be no enemies. Do not think that everybody is going to want to work with you or align with you. So what do? Make sure that you do not let their negativity affect you. Keep your eyes on the goal, stay focused, and keep building. Fourth, if you need to re-strategize, do that. If you need to recalibrate, do that. But do not stop. Watch and pray. Because there are enemies, you want to be prepared just in case something happens. All right? So while you're working, make sure you're also praying. Do not forget your source. Do not forget that God is your helper. And in the end, that desire, that building, that thing you're building is going to become a reality, and you will be glad for it. That's it for today. Thank you for staying with me, and I look forward to seeing you again. Bye.